Okay. All right. Okay. Today on Bartiromo's show, she had Tom Homan on. I just want to play this real clip real quick.
Well, look, I looked at the numbers this morning, Maria. The crossings on the border are down 93%. 93%.
Wow.
That's a bigger decrease than under the first Trump administration. So, look, I said it. President Trump is a game changer. No one has had the success he's had on securing the border. He clearly understands we can't have strong national security if we don't have border security. We need to know who's coming in, what's coming in, where it's coming in, why it's coming in. And we have achieved a success on the border already.
Okay, that was Tom Homan. Well, here to discuss that and more is Magali Urbina. She and her husband, Hugo, own a 300-acre pecan farm along the Rio Grande in Eagle Pass, Texas. Their land is ground zero for a look at what illegal immigration looks like up close, and the conflict also between Texas state immigration enforcement policies and the Biden administration at that time. Just over a year ago, on January 4th, 2024, I was privileged to be a part of a small delegation to visit her farm and get a firsthand look at the takeover of her property by 4 different federal agencies and the mess left on her farm by migrants, and to also hear what it's been like being in the midst of both lawlessness and also ineffective law enforcement. Magali joins me now to discuss how things have changed in the last year and over the last 2 weeks of the new Trump administration and what she hopes will be done in the future. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you. What are your initial comments?
Well, I would have to say that ever since President-elect Donald Trump came into office on day one, we noticed a change. Border Patrol has not caught anyone or picked anyone up on our property. Today, as a matter of fact, I was speaking to Border Patrol, and they said that they are now working with Homeland Security, with the state of Texas, National Guard, and with the federal government. And everyone's happy. And we all know that with President Trump in office, now there's consequences, and all of us believe down here that they're afraid to cross, which is a good thing.
So have you seen any crossings yourself at all, or any attempts at crossing on your property?
I have not at all.
Well, that's a big switch, because I recall, I believe that at one point on your property, there were dozens of people who were dead in 1 month that you found on your property.
Correct. As a matter of fact, there was someone out here doing research on how many people they had pulled out of the river on our property. They gave me a number of about 1,200, Jeanne, in the past 5 years. 1,200 people.
Well, when you took us out on a tour to actually go along the border, because you are right there on the Rio Grande, folks. She's right there on the Rio Grande. And in fact, the red buoys that Governor Abbott put up are right there in front of her property line. They're out on her property line because it goes out to the middle of the river. And it's kind of ineffective, in my opinion. I think it was about 200 yards. You could almost cross on either side. But when we saw that, I mean, it was fenced off. But then there was a wide opening where there was just trash pile upon trash pile of migrant belongings that were left behind. And then you showed us where they would board the buses and they would be taken off to an immigration control center. What is the status of all that? Is the fencing still up? Are the buoys still there? Is the garbage all laid out? What's going on?
Well, on Inauguration Day, they went ahead and they put more buoys. They've doubled the size of the buoys.
Okay.
The trash, unfortunately, is still there. I don't know if they're ever going to pull that out because it's stuck in between the two barriers. So you have the Rio Grande, and then you have some sea wire. Then you have the where they can't climb, it's fencing. Then you have about 60 yards of more sea wire and another barrier, which is another fence. And all that clothes and that mess is stuck in between that area. And so I don't know how long that's going to stay there. But that's what's happening right now down here.
Yeah, well, that is a nasty mess. So overall, Eagle Pass, I think people will think that it's some sort of, maybe the size of San Antonio. It's really not. It's a very small city. It's about a population of 30,000. And when we were there, also we were there where you saw the iconic pictures of the lines where they actually segmented the migrants for processing right in this big open field. Is that just empty?
It is empty. They cleaned up that area. I think they were seeing about 4,000 crossing a day at that time.
Oh, we saw them cross while we were there, climb up on the containers. There were supposed to be a blockage for them. They didn't. Wasn't a blockage at all. And then we watched as the Border Patrol actually put a ladder up and helped them down and then into a bus. So it was facilitated. And now is Eagle Pass, are you sort of occupied with military, American military, or have you seen that too?
I have not, but today I did see the helicopters with Christie and Nome flying around, which was really nice to know that the Trump administration came in strong, and they're doing what they said they would do. And unfortunately, in the past administration with Alejandro Mayorkas, he never came down here. Jeannie? Not, yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is remarkable. So, overall, what's the feeling there among Texans, among folks who live in Eagle Pass?
I would say the majority of the town is happy that there's no one crossing anymore, because it was a safety issue. You know, there were families, there's children, and the reality is that nobody knows who these people are, and you don't know what their intentions are. Yes, like I heard you say earlier, of course, they're not all bad people, but yet none of them really have a plan. And what happens to people that are desperate? You do desperate things. That's not a good thing. But I would have to go back to say that the people in Eagle Pass are happy that the border is closed.
Okay. The other thing that we did see while we were in Eagle Pass is we were able to get somewhat inside a processing center that was run by an NGO. And there was a large sort of fenced-in area where the migrants were. And it was pretty chilly. I mean, it was only January 4th. It was pretty chilly out there. They didn't seem like they were well-dressed for that weather, but they were housed there. They also had inside facilities, which we were not allowed to go into. But do you know the status of those processing centers? What's going on there?
Yes, they are shut down.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's a remarkable.
They are all closed down. Wow. Every one of them. Mm-hmm.
And did that happen pretty much after Trump was elected? Did they see the writing on the wall, or did it just happen in the last 2 weeks?
It happened the day he went in. Yes, the day that he was sworn in.
No kidding. That's a pretty powerful statement about if you put the right leadership in, and you actually take charge of the situation. So that's great. Now, okay, wow. So how's the town feeling? Do they feel like they are? I mean, is there a mixed emotions about this, or is it for the most part people are enjoying not having to worry about migrants crossing through their property or having being impeded by beggars or having them in and amongst in their schools or anything like that?
I would say the majority of the town is happy that the border is closed. Eagle Pass turned red. They were Democrat city and county, yes, for years, and it turned red.
Okay, so policy matters. That's even a bigger
Absolutely.
A bigger thing. And when you see it up front and personal, it does have an effect on you, I think. And I think that that's sort of missing from folks. Even though every state's a border state, I don't know that a lot of folks here understand exactly the ramifications of open borders and bad policy. Do you expect any problems, though? You are a crossing area. You're a major crossing area. What do you think about the Trump tariffs at all? And do you send your pecans across the border? And do you expect to have any retaliation for your product?
We don't. We don't fear that at all. Yes, and we still do cross. And what I was going to mention was that this week the Department of Public Safety, DPS troopers, called me and asked me if we were out shooting on the property. And I said, no, we weren't. And then they said, well, we heard about 15 shots fired over on the Mexican side, and you were on the land, so you know that we're just a couple of feet away from Mexico.
Yes.
And so, and speaking to Border Patrol today, there is a sense of I don't want to say fear, but they know that the cartel is not happy with laws being enforced, and they don't want anything. Border Patrol is just being warned about possibly just somebody might retaliate against them.
Oh, yeah. So that's still a
Yes.
concern, obviously, if if the cartels tries to continue operations and when they're blocked, they might just take someone out. That's still a dangerous situation.
Oh, it is.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And it's unfortunate because they're just doing their job.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that the past administration allowed this to happen, that now you've put the lives of the Border Patrol and National Guard and so many people, law enforcement,
At risk.
at risk.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. I have got to leave it right there. We've got a hard break. It's Magali Urbina. Thank you so much.